All right, guys, here we go again. Here we go again with the attempts to censor Joe Rogan, to deplatform him, to shut him up because he puts out different opinions than the mainstream liberal media. Guys, I've never seen anything like this. They're literally trying to make Joe Rogan Alex Jones, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to Alex Jones him. However, what these people don't realize is that Joe Rogan is too big. Okay, he is too big to fail. His audience is too large, okay? His audience is too large. Just like Dave Chappelle, when they tried to censor him, you can't. The guy is just too profitable. He's too big to fail. But before we get into this, guys, remember, if you want to support my channel, you want to support what I do, the links are in the description to the Patreon, to the merch, to PayPal. If you want to support what I do, please feel free to support. Now, one of the latest figures to call for Joe Rogan to be censored is a washed up musician who nobody knows who they actually are. Okay, as Neil Young, right? Some musician, some artist named Neil Young tells Spotify to remove music over Joe Rogan vaccine misinformation. Now, apparently this guy is a Canadian-American singer. Okay, he wrote an open letter to Spotify basically saying, listen, you can have me or you can have Joe Rogan, right? You got me or you got Joe Rogan, but you can't have both, right? So if you're not going to censor Joe Rogan, if you're not going to kick him off the platform, then I gotta go, right? I can't have my music and my content on your platform. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out who was going to win this battle, right? And who Spotify was going to listen to. The guy with approximately 6 million monthly listeners, or the guy that they paid $100 million to with over 200 million monthly listeners, right? I don't think it takes a genius to figure out what Spotify is going to do in this situation, okay? I think even Neil Young and his team realized that as well, too, because allegedly this open letter that he wrote to Spotify has been deleted, right? It's not on his website anymore because his handlers told him how stupid it was, right? How dumb it was, okay? And that he probably doesn't want to bite the hand that feeds him and, have Spotify actually remove his music from the platform because he requested it. How would the dude make money, right? Again, not a smart move. So his opinion actually doesn't matter. But somebody's opinion that actually does matter is the opinion of government officials. And we have a government official, Biden Surgeon General, Mr. Vivek Murthy, coming out and basically calling for Spotify to censor Joe Rogan as well. Take a look.
Rogan, who hosts the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, has frequently promoted unproven methods for treating COVID-19 and downplayed the need for vaccines. Last year, Spotify purchased his podcast library for an estimated $100 million. Dr. Murthy, what do you think are the best ways to push back on misinformation about COVID that continues to be aggressively pushed, whether it be Joe Rogan's podcast or all over Facebook?
Well, Mika, it's such an important question because we can have the best science available, we can have the best public health expertise available, but it won't help people if they don't have access to accurate information. Something I've always believed as a doctor is that people have the right to make their own decisions, but they also have the right to have accurate information to make that decision with. Now, when it comes to how we root out the misinformation in society right now, and give people access to accurate information, we've got to do several things. Number one, we've got to recognize that our technology platforms, whether particularly social media, these have an important role to play. These are the predominant places where we're seeing misinformation spread. These platforms have still not stepped up to do the right thing and do enough, I should say, to reduce the spread of misinformation. But each of us also has a role to play here because we all have platforms. And particularly if you're somebody who has a large following, whether you're an entertainer, a politician, in the media, it's your responsibility, all of our responsibilities, to make sure that we are thoughtful in what we are sharing. This is not just about entertainment. It's not just about garnering clicks. This is about people's lives. And we have seen time and time again that misinformation costs people their lives. We all have this is not just about what government can do. This is about companies and individuals recognizing that the only way we get past misinformation is if we are careful about what we say and we use the power that we have to limit the spread of that misinformation. That's going to be a critical part of how we get through this pandemic.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Right there you have it. A government official calling for Joe Rogan to be censored because he went up there and he said, listen, these social media companies, these big tech platforms, they're not doing enough. okay? And how many times have we heard this? We hear this a whole bunch, okay? That big tech needs to do more to get rid of the so-called misinformation, aka the information that we don't like, aka the information that changes over time because science evolves over time. This is the danger here, right? This is the real danger in our society. Government officials like this guy coming out here calling to silence people who don't agree with them, right? And here's the thing, it's not even like Joe Rogan is out here trying to purposely present misinformation. That's not what he's doing. He is platforming different opinions, right? People from all across the spectrum. So even that's bad, right? It's one thing to say, hey, your whole show is dedicated towards saying the opposite of mainstream media. No, that's not what Joe Rogan's show is dedicated towards. No, what he's actually doing is he's platforming different opinions across the spectrum, right? There's some people that go on his show that have the same view as mainstream media, right? He went up there with Sanjay Gupta. He had him up there. Sanjay Gupta, he's going along with the mainstream liberal narrative, right? But see, the difference between Joe Rogan and these guys is that they don't want any debate. They don't want any dissenting opinions to be allowed on MSNBC or CNN or any other platform like that, right? And they also refuse to go on Joe Rogan. They refuse to have a conversation with him, okay? Because for as much as they want to complain about the so-called misinformation, okay, if that's such a concern to you, why don't you go on the platform and present the right information? If what Joe Rogan is saying is wrong, if what he's saying doesn't match what the data is saying, go on the platform, Vivek, right? Go on the platform, man. I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan would love to have you. And tell Joe Rogan why he's wrong. Educate the audience on what is right. But see, these people won't do that. They won't engage in the battle of ideas, but they'll sit there on their high horse and say, oh, no, Joe Rogan is misinformation. Don't listen to him. I'm too good to go on his platform, right? I'm a legitimate physician. I don't go on platforms like Joe Rogan. While at the same time, again, complaining about Joe Rogan's platform and calling for it to be censored. Based off the idea that, oh, well, he's putting out misinformation. But again, what these people don't understand is that the best way to fight against the so-called misinformation, if you really believe that that's what it is to go up there and to present a counter argument to it. But they won't do that. They rather big tech censor the guy, right? That's what they want. And again, this right here is the actual real danger to society, guys. When you have government officials coming out here basically pressuring these big tech companies to censor people for information they don't like, that is a problem, okay? And I just did a video about, the View and how they was talking about how Trump called the press the enemy of the people. And I said, listen, here's the thing. If the press, aka the mainstream liberal media, and the government, aka the Democrat Party, are all aligned, okay, and they're basically operating as one conglomerate, then yeah, they are the enemy of the people, right? I think that's an accurate characterization. When the press and the mainstream liberal media are calling for the censoring of information and are censoring information, yes, then they are the enemies of the people. Because again, at the end of the day, the facts and the data should better speak for itself. But these people don't want to engage in the bad ideas using the facts and the data that they claim supports their argument, right? If you're right, then you shouldn't have a problem going on Joe Rogan's platform and presenting the information and educating the audience. But none of these people will do that. They won't do it. And they won't even tell you exactly what he's saying that is incorrect, right? What specifically is incorrect that he's saying on his platform, and tell us why, right? And back it up with data. They won't even do that. They won't even do it on a platform like MSNBC or CNN that we know it's not going to give them any pushback. They're not going to give them any counter argument. They won't even do it. They'll just say Joe Rogan is wrong and misinformation, therefore he needs to be censored. End of story, right? End of story. So, like I said, man, this right here, this actually is scary stuff, okay? When the Surgeon General is coming out and basically calling for Joe Rogan to be censored, that, again, is how you get more censorship. Now, somebody like Joe Rogan is not necessarily going to be affected by it because he's too big to fail, right? Spotify's not letting him go, okay? They're making way too much money off of it. They're too big to fail. He's too big to fail. But the people that are affected are the small-time creators, right? Those are the people that are affected, okay? Because, again, platforms like Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, they're going to ratchet this stuff up. They're going to ratchet up the censorship. But, again, it's really going to affect those who are small, who don't necessarily have the resources to fight back, or big enough audiences where they're not too big to fail, right? If, they just say, hey, we're going to erase your platform, nobody really notice, right? Put it this way, it won't be national news, right? For example, if, Spotify was to actually censor Joe Rogan, it would be national news. They'd probably be celebrating. They make it a holiday, right? That Joe Rogan got censored. They really would. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.